infrastructure here in our area, in the southeast counties, and that's been a major issue. We have
EastWest Corridor.
We have 2 areas. We have 21 that goes straight through Monroe there to Atmore, and it's a 1 lane. And there in the southern part of Baldwin and Mobile, we have the Airbus there. We have the Porter there, and that's going to be a major artery coming out of Mobile into Monroe. And I think that was going to be one of the keys to bringing more economic development into the county. So
right.
we just we need additional funding for that.
Yeah, let's talk real quick. Last year I sponsored and we enacted going back to the schools. There is money out there. We enacted the Safe School Act, the Eagles Act, to try to get more resource officers and to harden schools to make sure our children are protected. When I was going to school, this was just not something people had to think of, and now we do. It's really a frightening world that we're living in right now, that we have to protect our school children the way that we do. But there is resources out there that we were able to do. I was a co-sponsor of both of those bills. There's resources out there to kind of help that. I think one of the things that we're trying to do with our state offices is to try to make sure people know those and are aware of that, because there's a lot of things that the federal government has done, particularly last year with the bills that I sponsored, to try to give extra money to do things for these local school systems. They've just got to know about it and apply for it. We talked about the infrastructure issue at the town hall recently, and those are, again, I think there's 2 things. Number one, there is money out there as part of our regular Department of Transportation budget that will help infrastructure issues. There's not going to be a giant infrastructure bill like has been talked about. I don't believe, unfortunately, will happen because of tax cuts that were enacted a couple of years ago that are, have hurt the revenues that are coming into the government. But there's still a lot of money out there, and the infra grants are out there. There's other kind of monies through the Department of Transportation. One of the things that we talked about when I was at your town hall that I've tried to do in a bill called an infrastructure bill for evacuation routes. In South Alabama in particular, whether it's a hurricane, a tornado, bad weather moving in, we need to make sure that people can get out of the area as safely and as quickly as possible. So I introduced a bill along with senators, 2 Republicans, Senator Kennedy and Senator Cassidy, both from Louisiana, who have the same problem, that would create a new pot of money in the Department of Transportation to help the infrastructure for evacuation routes. That's just kind of thinking outside the box of how we can do things, and it gives a reason other than just good highways. There's reasons for that. All of those routes that you're talking about would be considered a rural evacuation route under my bill. My bill recently was rolled into a bigger highway bill that passed the Senate Environmental and Public Works Committee almost unanimously the other day. We're hoping we can get it into a bigger bill. But there's money there. There are things that we can do. What I would also suggest is that the county commissioners, the local mayors in these counties, not just right there in Monroeville and Monroe County, but get to surrounding counties and let's get together, come up to D.C. and sit down with our folks and let's map this out, see what we can do to help. My chief of staff worked at the Department of Transportation under President Obama for 7 years, so we know where there are the pots of the money. We just got to make sure other people know about it and we can get it there.
Outstanding.
Okay, I got one more question for you. That's on that East-West Corridor. In Alabama, you got a north East-West Corridor. You got the 65 running the full length of Alabama, but down south here, 84 is the East-West Corridor down the lower part of Alabama. That really needs to be 4-lane. Is doing a lot of stuff over on the east side of Alabama, and some portions over on the west side of Alabama. But through Monroe County and this area down here, that's needed badly. And I know.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I think. Candidly, I think that is a perfect candidate if we can get this bill passed that got voted out. My bill about rural rural evacuation routes. Sometimes you just need to couple a project like that is not only going to bring economic development, we couple that with a safety issue and a safety thing, and we can demonstrate the need for evacuation routes in South Alabama. We are subject to hurricanes, we're subject to tornadoes, all manner of weather-related issues that we got to deal with. So that's a perfect candidate for that at the time. We're hoping it can get in. But again, I think one of the things that folks, and what I'm seeing success with since I've been in the Senate, when folks in several communities, a couple of counties that all have joined that have an interest in, for instance, 84, it doesn't just run through one county or one community. Band together, talk to each other, and lay out a plan. Come visit with us, and then that's how we can get the first step. Because from there, we can help start looking for that money that already exists in our budget at the Department of Transportation, or maybe even somewhere else if we need to try to help with that. It's a long-term process, but we got to start. We got to just start that process and just never give up. Just don't take no for an answer, because too many times people will apply for these grants to get turned down and they just don't go back to the well. We just need to be, in there every year to get our share of this. And let me mention this too, because I want to kind of maybe end on this because I'm getting ready to head out of town.
Okay.
Coupled with this, all this infrastructure and highway dollars and things that go to states, so much is dependent on a state's population. There are formulas for that, and so much is dependent on the population. So I want to encourage everybody, it's the churches, the community centers, everybody, when it's time to do the census, we need to make sure we count every person in Alabama.
Absolutely.
Every person needs to be. We have to do that because we are in danger of losing a congressional seat, but more importantly, so much of the dollars that come into our state are based on our population.
Right.
So we got to count everybody, and it doesn't matter who they are. And everybody needs to help their friends, their family, the neighbors, the members of their churches, the member of their schools. Everybody needs to be talking about that census when it comes up next year, and be ready for it. And let's get every person counted. Last year, the last census, we only had about 72% of the people of Alabama that filled out. 72, 75. If we do that again this year, we are definitely going to lose one congressional seat, and we may be in danger of losing two.
Yeah.
We got to get above 80% in order to keep what we got.
Okay. Well, then, Senator Jones, I thank you, Brother Marsh. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
And here, that what you just got through saying, I know you got your hands full. If y'all could do something around 2020 from your perspective, put it out there and blast Alabama. Get don't run away from the census, man. Fill that stuff out, and because that's gonna help us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank y'all for. I've enjoyed this. Hope to do it again sometime soon. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Senator.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye bye.
Right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Okay.
www.notoriousdesigns.com. You're listening to Howcee Production Gospel, Blog Talk Radio, www.blogtalkradio.com. Howcee Production Gospel. We are your internet radio.
All right, Brother Marshall, we're back live in the studio. You was able to hear everything, right?
Good morning. I heard everything very clear, extremely clear. Absolutely.
There are some more portions of that. We'll close it out. With the end part of it, after we have finished the discussion, and me and you talk, we'll play that as well. But look, I like what he is saying, Marshall. One of those things he's talking about is hot button issues that keep folks split up and at each other's throat and crying and whining and going all the time, instead of paying attention to what really needs to be done in the state of Alabama, such as jobs, education, the economy. That's jobs. Real, as you say, kitchen table items that they use in a political term,
stuff that really matter to Alabama folks, and talk to all of the citizens, not just one. Not
there
just
you go.
People.
There we go. There we go. Now we roll.
From listening to what he said, give me some of your points on what you believe and how you feel about it, and what you think in that regard. And what you just got to say.
Now, this what I got, and I've spoken on it before, that I got from our Senator Doug Jones. The platform that he used back during the special election, when he actually, him and school, when they actually went around, and I monitored that. You know, he actually spoke to the masses of people, not one particular, like most politicians do. They speak to one demographic of individuals and citizens. Now, the difference with him and theirs, I think that's the template that he used throughout his campaign, and that's why he was successful here in the state of Alabama. Now, as I had mentioned before, and I'm going to say it again, that was actually unheard of. And a lot of people are not aware just how long shot that was for our Senator Doug Jones to win in that special election, because Roger Moore was supposed to just run away with that, just completely run away with that on special election. But, like I said, again, this platform, he was speaking to the masses regardless, where he was speaking to, both Democrat, Republican, both black and white. And actually was listening to the needs of the people and the citizen here in Alabama. And that's what we need, all our politicians there. And also, we need that from our local elected officials. Now, that's an issue that we have to address here in Monroe County. We have to demand more out of our elected officials. We see them, we vote to get them in office, and then that agenda changes. They run on one platform, but once in office, that agenda completely takes a different turn. And that's become a problem. Now, what I would say to all our citizens here in Monroe County, I challenge you to attend your meetings here throughout Monroe County. Your Board of Education officials. Your county commissioner meet twice a month. Your city council meet there with the mayor twice a month. See what they're talking about. Get involved. We can't sit back and just watch and see what people's going to do, and we're going to settle for it. It's time to get involved. Now, back in the special election back in November, we did something that was historic, Bro Howard. That was a buzz around Monroe County. That was a buzz for the first time in years.
Total swept the county. Swept every Republican out of office. Every single one of them.
There was a big buzz around the Democratic Party that we haven't seen here in Monroe County. And what created that was we actually got together. We conducted meetings. We strategized.
Bunch of meetings.
What we did was we actually took our team and we put them under different umbrellas, and we started privatizing and assigning lieutenants for this area, and we need to use that same formula for 2020 election that's upcoming. And that was proven then, Bro Howard, that if we do and follow that same template, we could take those same office coming up in 2020 election. And I think the demographic here, I'm going to say this, and the demographic right here is in turn. It's about 50-50 demographic as far as black and white in Monroe. But we got to get our people that's not used to voting. We got to get our young voters. We got to get our old voters that say, well, I'm not going to vote. My vote's up.